The unexpected visitor. The Starlight Lounge hung suspended in the inky void of space, a glowing oasis of warmth and life amidst the cold emptiness. Located on the outermost ring of Outpost Zeta 9, it served as a welcome respite for the hard-working inhabitants of this remote frontier station. Tonight, like most nights, a diverse crowd of humans and friendly alien species mingled in the bar's comfortable confines. Behind the polished Durasteel counter, Mira Chen polished glasses with practiced ease, her augmented eyes scanning the room. As the owner and bartender of the Starlight, she prided herself on running a tight ship. Everything from the softly pulsing bioluminescent plants to the gently rotating holoads was designed to create an atmosphere of tranquil escapism. At the far end of the bar, Captain Ilara Voss nursed a tumbler of Centauri whiskey, her weathered face etched with the lines of countless space voyages. Beside her sat Dr. Zhen Liang, the station's chief xenobiologist, excitedly regaling the captain with tales of his latest research. "I'm telling you, Ilara," Zhen enthused, his eyes alight with scientific fervor. "The cellular regeneration capabilities of the Proxima slugs are simply astounding. If we can isolate the key enzyme, we could revolutionize trauma medicine." Ilara nodded politely, more interested in her drink than xenobiology. Her attention was drawn to the entrance as a hulking figure ducked through the doorway. Standing nearly 7 feet tall, with shoulders like a bulkhead and arms corded with cybernetic enhancements, Rex Donovan cut an imposing figure. The station's head of security made his way to the bar, earning respectful nods from the patrons. Despite his intimidating appearance, Rex was well-liked on Zeta 9. He'd been instrumental in keeping the peace during the recent Orion Syndicate troubles. "Evening, Mira," Rex rumbled as he settled onto a stool. "The usual, please." Mira smiled, already reaching for a bottle of non-alcoholic Martian ale. "Coming right up, Chief. Quiet night." Rex grunted an affirmative. "As quiet as it gets out here on the edge of civilized space. Not that I'm complaining. Mind you, I've had my fill of excitement for one lifetime." As Mira placed the frosty mud before him, the lights in the Starlight Lounge flickered momentarily. A faint tremor ran through the station's superstructure, causing glasses to rattle and conversations to falter. "What the hell was that?" Captain Voss demanded, her hand instinctively moving to the empty holster at her hip. Rex was already on his feet, tapping the comlink embedded in his temple. Donovan to control. "Status report." The response came back garbled, static overwhelming the transmission. "Chief. Unknown. Docking Bay 3. Heavy weapons fire." The lounge erupted into a cacophony of worried voices. Rex raised his hands, his booming voice cutting through the chaos. "Everyone remain calm. This station has withstood meteor showers and pirate raids. Whatever's happening, we'll handle it." As if in mocking response to his words, the main doors to the Starlight Lounge slid open with a pneumatic hiss. The figure that stepped through sent a collective gasp rippling through the crowd. It stood easily 8 feet tall, its body a nightmarish fusion of organic muscle and gleaming biotechnology. Segmented armor plates covered its torso and limbs, while a bone-white mask concealed its features. In one clawed hand, it gripped a spear-like weapon that crackled with barely contained energy. "Predator," Dr. Liang whispered, his face pale with recognition. The alien's mask swiveled, taking in the stunned occupants of the lounge. Its gaze settled on Rex, the most obvious threat. With a series of clicking sounds, blade-like protrusions extended from its wrist gauntlets. Time seemed to stand still for a heartbeat, the humans and their alien allies frozen in disbelief at the appearance of this legendary hunter. Then, with a roar that shook dust from the ceiling, the predator charged. Rex reacted with the speed of a man who'd spent a lifetime in combat. He vaulted over the bar, shouting to Mira, "Gun, now." Without hesitation, Mira slapped a compact pulse pistol into his outstretched hand. In the same fluid motion, Rex brought the weapon up and squeezed off 3 rapid shots. Blue-white energy bolts sizzled through the air, impacting the predator's chest plate in a shower of sparks. The alien staggered back a step, more surprised than hurt. Its armor had absorbed most of the blast, leaving only scorch marks as evidence of the attack. "Everybody out," Rex bellowed, placing himself between the predator and the panicked crowd. "Emergency evacuation protocols. Now." The lounge erupted into chaos as people scrambled for the exits. Captain Voss, her military training kicking in, began herding civilians toward safety. Dr. Liang stood rooted to the spot, his scientific curiosity warring with his sense of self-preservation. The predator let out another ear-splitting roar and hurled its spear with inhuman strength. Rex barely had time to shove Mira aside before the weapon embedded itself in the bar where she'd been standing, energy arcing outward and shattering bottles. "Mira, go," Rex ordered, firing another volley at the advancing alien. "Get to the safe room and initiate lockdown." Mira hesitated for a split second, torn between her desire to help and the knowledge that she'd only be a liability in this fight. With a curt nod, she dashed for the concealed entrance to the lounge's panic room. The predator was on Rex in an instant, its wrist blades slashing through the air with lethal precision. The security chief backpedaled, using every ounce of his combat training to stay just ahead of the razor-sharp weapons. He managed to land a solid punch to the alien's midsection, his cybernetic arm enhancing the blow's power. To Rex's dismay, the predator seemed to relish the challenge. It let out a sound that might have been a laugh, then redoubled its assault. Rex found himself driven back, unable to bring his pistol to bear at such close range. A blast of searing heat suddenly engulfed the predator's back. It whirled to face this new threat, revealing Captain Voss wielding a plasma torch she'd wrenched from the wall. "Pick on someone your own size, you ugly son of a bitch," Voss snarled, her eyes blazing with defiance. The predator tilted its head, as if considering this new challenger. Then, with a speed that belied its size, it leaped clear over Rex's head, landing between Voss and the exit. "Captain, run," Rex shouted, but it was too late. The predator lashed out with a vicious backhand, sending Voss flying across the room to crash into a table. She lay still, unconscious or worse. Rex's blood ran cold as the alien turned its attention back to him. He knew he was outmatched in terms of strength and speed, but humans hadn't survived this long in the galaxy by rolling over in the face of superior foes. "All right, you want to hunt," Rex growled, his cybernetic eye glowing as he activated its combat subroutines. "Let's hunt." With that, he fired his pistol at the overhead light fixtures. The lounge plunged into darkness, broken only by the eerie red glow of emergency lighting. In the sudden gloom, Rex's augmented vision gave him a slight edge. He dove behind the bar, mind racing as he formulated a plan. The predator's triumphant roar echoed through the Starlight Lounge, a chilling promise of the battle to come. As Rex checked his weapon and steeled himself for the fight of his life, one thought kept running through his mind. How the hell do you kill something that sees humans as nothing more than sport? The hunt was on, and the fate of everyone aboard Outpost Zeta 9 hung in the balance. Rising to the challenge, the Starlight Lounge, once a haven of relaxation, had transformed into a battleground. Emergency lights cast an eerie red glow across the wreckage of overturned tables and shattered glass. In this crimson twilight, Rex Donovan crouched behind the bar, his enhanced senses straining to detect any sign of the predator's movement. The alien hunter stalked through the shadows, its masked visage swiveling as it searched for its prey. Each step was deliberate, calculated, the movements of an apex predator confident in its supremacy. The creature's wrist blades gleamed wickedly in the dim light, still hungry for human blood. Rex's mind raced, analyzing the situation with the cold efficiency of a veteran soldier. Direct confrontation was suicide. The predator outclassed him in raw strength and speed. He needed to level the playing field, to use the environment and his own ingenuity to stand a chance. His cybernetic eye scanned the bar, cataloging potential weapons and improvised tools. Bottles of high-proof alien liquor could serve as makeshift incendiaries. The CO2 canisters used for carbonating drinks might be repurposed as distractions or even explosives. And there, nestled beneath the bar, was Mira's prize shotgun, loaded with custom shells designed to take down rampaging Jovian megafauna. A pained groan from across the room caught Rex's attention. Captain Voss was stirring, struggling to regain consciousness. The sound didn't escape the predator's notice either. Its head snapped towards the source, a series of clicks emanating from its mask as it adjusted its vision modes. Rex knew he had to act fast. The predator would not hesitate to eliminate an easy target. With practiced precision, he snatched up several bottles of Andromeda brandy and the shotgun. In one fluid motion, he stood and hurled the bottles in a high arc over the bar. "Hey, ugly!" Rex bellowed, his voice amplified by his cybernetic vocal enhancers. "Let's see how you handle the heat." As the predator turned towards the sound of his voice, Rex fired a single shot from his pulse pistol. The energy bolt struck the falling bottles mid-air, igniting the potent alcohol into a brilliant fireball. The sudden flash of light and heat caused the alien to recoil, its thermal vision momentarily overloaded. Rex seized the opportunity, vaulting over the bar with inhuman speed. He closed the distance to Captain Voss in a heartbeat, scooping her up with his cybernetic arm while bringing the shotgun to bear with his free hand. The predator recovered quickly, shaking off the disorientation and zeroing in on its targets. It let out a challenging roar and charged, wrist blades extended for a killing blow. Rex fired the shotgun, the custom shell erupting in a spray of superheated plasma pellets. The blast caught the predator square in the chest, staggering it backward. Its armor smoked and bubbled, but held, a testament to the advanced technology of the alien hunter. "Come on, Captain," Rex grunted, half-dragging, half-carrying Voss towards the exit. "Time to get you out of here." Voss groaned, her eyes fluttering open. "Donovan, what's happening?" "Oh, just another day at the office," Rex quipped, his grim humor a shield against the terror of their situation. "Turns out we've got an uninvited guest who's real keen on redecorating with our insides." As they reached the door, a shimmer in the air was their only warning. The predator decloaked directly in their path, its mask mere inches from Rex's face. Up close, the alien was even more terrifying. A perfect killing machine honed by eons of evolution and technological advancement. Rex reacted on pure instinct, swinging the shotgun like a club. The weapon connected with the predator's head with a resounding clang, knocking its mask askew. For a brief moment, Rex caught a glimpse of the creature's true face, a nightmare of mandibles and razor-sharp teeth. The blow bought them precious seconds. Rex shoved Captain Voss through the doorway, shouting, "Run, get to the security hub, and initiate station-wide lockdown." Voss hesitated, her captain's instincts warring with tactical necessity. "What about you?" "I'll keep our friend here occupied," Rex growled, chambering another round in the shotgun. "Someone's got to teach it some manners." With a reluctant nod, Voss staggered down the corridor, leaving Rex to face the predator alone. The alien readjusted its mask, letting out a series of clicks that almost sounded like laughter. It seemed to be enjoying the challenge. "That's right, big guy," Rex muttered, falling back into a defensive stance. "Let's dance." The predator struck with lightning speed, its wrist blades slicing through the air where Rex's head had been a split second before. The security chief ducked and rolled, coming up firing. Another blast of plasma pellets peppered the alien's armor, eliciting a roar of pain and fury. Rex knew he couldn't keep this up forever. Each movement sent jolts of pain through his organic parts, reminders that despite his cybernetic enhancements, he was still very much human. The predator, on the other hand, showed no signs of fatigue. As they circled each other in the wreckage of the lounge, Rex's mind worked overtime. He needed a plan, something to turn the tables on this seemingly unstoppable foe. His gaze fell on the bar's climate control panel, and a desperate idea began to form. "You know," Rex called out, trying to keep the predator's attention focused on him. "I've always wondered something about you guys. All that fancy tech, all those weapons, but how well do you handle the cold?" The predator tilted its head, as if puzzled by this line of conversation. It was the opening Rex needed. He lunged for the climate panel, his cybernetic arms smashing through the protective casing. With a grunt of effort, he overrode the safety protocols and cranked the temperature to its lowest setting. Almost immediately, the room's atmosphere began to change. Frost crystals formed on surfaces, spreading with unnatural speed. The predator let out a surprised shriek as the sudden cold bit into its flesh. Rex grinned savagely, his breath misting in the rapidly cooling air. "What's wrong, tough guy? Getting a little chilly?" The alien hunter roared in defiance and charge, but its movements were noticeably slower. The extreme cold was affecting its biology, dulling its reflexes. Rex sidestepped the attack, bringing the butt of the shotgun down hard on the predator's back. For the first time since this nightmare began, Rex felt a glimmer of hope. He had found a weakness, a way to level the playing field. But he knew it was only a temporary advantage. The predator was already adapting, its armor systems working to regulate its body temperature. Rex needed to end this, and fast. His own cybernetics were starting to struggle with the cold, warnings flashing across his augmented vision. He had maybe minutes before he'd be in as much trouble as the alien. With a yell of defiance, Rex charged the predator, catching it off guard. They crashed through the frosted remains of a table, grappling in a deadly embrace. Rex's cybernetic arm whirred and strained as he fought to keep the alien's wrist blades away from his throat. As they struggled, Rex became aware of a faint beeping sound. His eyes widened as he realized the source. The predator's wrist computer. The alien was calling for help. "Oh no, you don't," Rex snarled. With a surge of desperate strength, he smashed his forehead into the predator's mask once, twice, 3 times. The reinforced alloy of his skull cracked the alien's visor, sending spiderweb fractures across its surface. The predator howled in rage and pain, redoubling its efforts to break free. But Rex held on with grim determination, knowing that if he let go now, it would all be over. As the temperature in the room plummeted to levels that would freeze an unprotected human in minutes, man and alien remained locked in their deadly struggle. The fate of Outpost Zeta 9 hung in the balance, with Rex Donovan standing as humanity's last line of defense against an enemy from beyond the stars. Little did they know, this was only the beginning of a battle that would push humanity to its very limits and reveal the true strength that lay within the human spirit. Cat and mouse. The frozen silence of the Starlight Lounge shattered as Rex and the predator crashed through a frosted window, tumbling into the corridor beyond. Shards of ice-encrusted glass scattered across the floor, glittering like deadly diamonds in the pulsing red emergency lights. Rex hit the ground hard, his cybernetic parts screeching in protest against the extreme cold. The predator, despite its own struggles with the temperature, recovered more quickly. It rose to its full height, looming over the prone security chief. "All right," Rex grunted, pushing himself up on one elbow. Round 2. But before either combatant could make a move, the station's intercom crackled to life. Captain Voss's voice, strained but determined, echoed through the halls. "Attention all personnel. This is Captain Ilara Voss. We are implementing Protocol Omega. I repeat, Protocol Omega is now in effect. All non-essential personnel, proceed to emergency shelters immediately. This is not a drill." Rex's eyes widened. Protocol Omega was a last resort measure designed to protect the civilian population in the event of a catastrophic threat. It would seal off entire sections of the station, potentially trapping the predator, but also limiting Rex's movement and options. The alien seemed to sense the shift in the situation. It glanced down the corridor, then back at Rex, as if weighing its options. With a guttural growl, it activated its cloaking device and shimmered out of visibility. Rex scrambled to his feet, his augmented vision scanning for any trace of the predator's heat signature. But the lingering cold from the lounge was playing havoc with his sensors. "Damn it," he muttered, hefting the shotgun. "I hate it when they do that." The security chief set off down the corridor at a brisk pace, every sense on high alert. He needed to reach the central hub of the station, where he could coordinate with Captain Voss and access the full range of Zeta-9's defensive systems. As he moved, Rex tapped into the station's comm network. "Donovan to all security personnel. We have a code black situation. Unknown hostile, extremely dangerous. Maintain shelter protocols and stand by for further orders." He received a chorus of acknowledgments, along with a burst of panicked chatter. Rex grimaced. His team was good, but they were used to dealing with rowdy miners and the occasional pirate, not a hyper-advanced alien killing machine. A flicker of movement caught Rex's eye. He spun, firing off a blast from the shotgun on pure instinct. The plasma pellets tore through empty air, leaving scorch marks on the corridor wall. "Come on, you bastard," Rex growled. "Where are you?" As if in answer, a shimmer in the air materialized into a flying disk of serrated metal. Rex barely had time to duck as the projectile whistled over his head, embedding itself in a control panel with a shower of sparks. The lights in the corridor flickered and died, plunging the area into near total darkness. Only the faint red glow of emergency lighting remained, casting long shadows that seemed to move with a life of their own. Rex's cybernetic eye adjusted quickly, switching to low-light mode. But he knew the predator's vision was likely far superior in these conditions. He was at a distinct disadvantage. A low, rattling sound echoed through the darkness. The predator's eerie, mocking laughter. It was toying with him now, confident in its superiority. Rex gritted his teeth, forcing down the primal fear that threatened to overwhelm him. He needed to think, to use his knowledge of the station to his advantage. An idea struck him. If he couldn't see the predator, maybe he could hear it. Rex reached up and adjusted his cybernetic ear, cranking the sensitivity to its highest setting. Instantly, the sounds of the station amplified. The hum of life support systems, the creaking of metal as the structure cooled and contracted. And there, the faintest scrape of clawed feet on metal grating. Rex whirled, firing off another blast from the shotgun. This time, he was rewarded with a shriek of pain and surprise. The predator's cloaking device flickered, revealing its massive form for a split second before it vanished again. "That's right," Rex muttered, a grim smile playing across his features. "You bleed. And if you bleed, I can kill you." But the small victory was short-lived. The wounded predator was now fully alert, its playful attitude replaced by murderous intent. It launched a flurry of attacks, appearing and disappearing so quickly that Rex could barely track its movements. The security chief was driven back, desperately fending off strikes from wrist blades and flying discs. His shotgun was knocked from his grasp, clattering away into the darkness. Rex fell back on his hand-to-hand combat training, his cybernetic limbs whirring as they pushed themselves to the limit. As they fought, Rex became aware of a change in their surroundings. The corridor was widening, opening up into one of the station's larger chambers. With a start, he realized where they were: the hydroponics bay. The vast room was filled with rows upon rows of plants, a verdant oasis in the sterile environment of the space station. Mist hung in the air, the climate-controlled atmosphere a stark contrast to the frozen lounge they had left behind. Rex saw an opportunity. The dense foliage could provide cover, allowing him to turn the tables on his pursuer. Without hesitation, he dove into the nearest row of plants, the broad leaves closing around him like a protective cocoon. For a moment, all was silent save for the gentle hiss of the hydroponic systems. Rex held his breath, straining his enhanced senses to their limit. Where was the predator? A rustle of leaves to his left answered that question. Rex tensed, ready to spring into action. But the attack came from the right, a massive, clawed hand bursting through the foliage to grasp at his throat. Rex reacted on pure instinct, grabbing the predator's arm with his cybernetic hand. Servos whined as man and alien grappled, neither willing to give an inch. Leaves and branches snapped around them as their struggle intensified. With a roar of effort, Rex managed to break the predator's grip. He stumbled backward, crashing through a row of plants and emerging into a small clearing. The alien followed, its cloaking device deactivated, apparently deciding that stealth was no longer necessary. As they faced each other in the misty air of the hydroponics bay, Rex knew he was running out of options. His body was battered, his cybernetics pushed to their limits. The predator, despite its injuries, still looked fresh and ready for battle. But Rex Donovan had not survived this long by giving up. He had not fought his way through wars and pirate raids, had not dragged himself back from the brink of death after the cybernetic surgery that saved his life, just to roll over now. "All right, you ugly mother Rex snarled, falling into a fighting stance. "You want to finish this? Let's finish it." The predator tilted its head, as if appreciating the human's defiance. Then, with a roar that shook leaves from the nearby plants, it charged. As man and alien clashed once more, neither was aware of the eyes watching them from the shadows. Dr. Zhen Liang, who had hidden himself in the hydroponics bay when the evacuation order came, observed the battle with a mixture of terror and fascination. And in the xenobiologist's mind, a desperate plan began to form, one that might just turn the tide of this deadly game of cat and mouse. The fate of Outpost Zeta 9 hung in the balance, with humanity's ingenuity and determination pitted against the raw power and advanced technology of the galaxy's most feared predator. The true test was yet to come. Turning the tables. The hydroponics bay, once a serene oasis of green life amidst the sterile confines of the space station, had become a brutal arena. Rex Donovan and the predator circled each other, their battle having devolved into a primal contest of strength and will. Rex's breaths came in ragged gasps, his organic parts screaming for respite, while his cybernetic enhancements pushed themselves to the brink of failure. The predator, despite the wounds it had sustained, still moved with lethal grace, its mask fixed on Rex with unwavering focus. "Come on," Rex growled, spitting blood from a split lip. "Is that all you've got?" The taunt had its intended effect. The predator charged, its wrist blades slicing through the air in a deadly arc. Rex ducked under the attack, years of combat experience guiding his movements. He countered with a cybernetically enhanced uppercut that caught the alien under its chin, snapping its head back with a satisfying crack. But the victory was short-lived. The predator recovered almost instantly, seizing Rex's arm and using the human's own momentum to hurl him across the chamber. Rex crashed through a hydroponic array, the impact sending waves of pain through his battered body. As he struggled to rise, a movement in his peripheral vision caught Rex's attention. Dr. Zhen Liang emerged from his hiding place, his eyes wide with a mixture of fear and determination. "Chief Donovan," Zhen called out, his voice trembling but resolute. "I have an idea." The predator's head snapped toward the new voice, its interest piqued by the appearance of fresh prey. It started to move toward Zhen, but Rex intervened, tackling the alien with all the strength he could muster. "Whatever you're planning, Doc," Rex grunted, grappling with the predator. "Make it quick." Zhen nodded, his hand shaking as he manipulated the controls of a nearby hydroponic unit. "The Proxima slugs," he explained hurriedly. "They're secretions. They're not just regenerative. They're highly corrosive to certain alloys." Rex's cybernetic eye widened in understanding. The predator's armor, for all its advanced technology, might be vulnerable to the alien biochemistry of the Proxima slugs. "Do it," Rex shouted, redoubling his efforts to keep the predator occupied. Zhen worked feverishly, rerouting the hydroponic systems to flood the chamber with a mist laden with the slug's secretions. As the air grew thick with the strangely sweet-smelling vapor, the effect on the predator was immediate and dramatic. The alien let out a shriek of pain and surprise as its armor began to sizzle and smoke. It released Rex, clawing desperately at its chest plate as the corrosive mist ate away at the high-tech alloys. Rex didn't waste the opportunity. He launched into a flurry of strikes, each blow targeting the weakening points in the Predator's armor. Pieces of the alien's protective shell fell away, revealing the mottled flesh beneath. But even wounded and partially stripped of its defenses, the Predator was far from beaten. It lashed out with desperate fury, its claws raking across Rex's chest and tearing through his uniform to the cybernetic components beneath. Warning signals flashed across Rex's vision as systems began to fail. He stumbled back, knowing that he couldn't take much more punishment. "Jen," he called out, narrowly avoiding a swipe from the Predator's wrist blades. A little more help would be appreciated. The xenobiologist was already on the move. He had retrieved Rex's discarded shotgun and was fumbling with the weapon, trying to figure out how to operate it. Okay, Jen muttered to himself. It can't be that different from the particle accelerators in the lab, right? With trembling hands, he raised the shotgun and squeezed the trigger. The recoil nearly knocked him off his feet, but the shot found its mark. A spray of plasma pellets tore into the Predator's exposed back, eliciting a roar of agony from the alien. The Predator whirled to face this new threat, its attention divided between Rex and Jen. It was the opening Rex needed. With a yell of defiance, Rex charged, driving his shoulder into the Predator's midsection. The force of the impact sent them both crashing through the transparent dome of the hydroponics bay and out onto the station's exterior hull. The vacuum of space hit them like a physical blow. Rex's ears popped painfully as the air was sucked from his lungs. His cybernetic parts, designed to function in a variety of environments, kicked into emergency mode, sealing off his organic components and providing a thin envelope of protection. The Predator, however, was in dire straits. Without its armor to protect it, the alien flailed in the void, green blood boiling from its wounds as it was exposed to the merciless vacuum. Rex's vision began to darken as his oxygen reserves depleted rapidly. With the last of his strength, he reached out and seized the Predator's ankle, anchoring them both to the station's hull. If he was going to die out here, he was damn well taking this monster with him. As consciousness began to slip away, Rex became aware of a new sound cutting through the silence of space, the whine of maneuvering thrusters. A sleek shape moved into view, growing larger by the second. It was a rescue craft, piloted with expert precision by none other than Captain Ilara Voss. The craft's docking collar extended, enveloping both Rex and the Predator in its pressurized embrace. As atmosphere flooded back in, Rex gasped, sweet oxygen filling his burning lungs. Voss's voice crackled over the comm system, tight with concern. "Donovan, hold on, we're reeling you in." As the rescue craft systems worked to pull them to safety, Rex maintained his iron grip on the Predator. The alien, severely wounded and exposed to vacuum, had fallen into a state of hibernation, a last-ditch survival mechanism. Once they were safely aboard, Rex allowed himself to collapse, every part of him, organic and cybernetic alike, pushed well beyond its limits. Voss knelt beside him, her face a mixture of relief and worry. "Rex, can you hear me? Stay with us, soldier." Rex managed a weak grin, his voice a hoarse whisper. "Captain, next time, you get to play bait." As medical personnel swarmed around them, Rex's gaze fell on the unconscious form of the Predator. They had won this round, against all odds. But as the adrenaline faded and the full weight of what had transpired settled in, a chilling realization took hold. This Predator hadn't come alone. It was a scout, the first wave of what could be a full-scale invasion. And if more of these hunters were on their way, humanity would need every ounce of ingenuity, courage, and sheer stubborn determination it could muster to survive. As darkness claimed him, Rex Donovan's last conscious thought was a silent vow. Whatever came next, he would be ready. Humanity would be ready. The battle for Outpost Zeta 9 was over, but the war for survival was just beginning. The final confrontation. The medical bay of Outpost Zeta 9 hummed with activity as doctors and nurses worked tirelessly to treat the wounded. At the center of it all, lying on a bioregeneration table, was Rex Donovan. His cybernetic parts had been removed for repairs, leaving him looking strangely vulnerable without the mechanical enhancements that had become such an integral part of him. Captain Ilara Voss stood at his bedside, her face etched with concern and fatigue. Dr. Zhen Liang paced nearby, his hands fidgeting nervously as he glanced between Rex and the secured isolation chamber where the captured predator lay in stasis. "How is he, Doctor?" Voss asked, her voice low. The chief medical officer, Dr. Amelia Chen, looked up from her holographic displays with a grim expression. "He's stable, but the damage is extensive. The cybernetic interfaces took a heavy hit. We're looking at weeks of recovery, maybe months." Voss nodded, her jaw set in determination. "He'll have it. We owe him that much, and more." A groan from the bed drew their attention. Rex's eyes flickered open, unfocused at first, then sharpening as he took in his surroundings. "Welcome back to the land of the living, Chief," Voss said, a rare smile softening her features. Rex tried to sit up, wincing as pain lanced through his body. "The predator." "Contained," Zhen piped up, moving closer. "Your insane plan worked. It's in stasis, but alive." "Good," Rex grunted. "We need answers, and that thing is our best shot at getting them." As if on cue, an alarm blared through the station. Red warning lights bathed the medical bay in an ominous glow. Voss's comm unit crackled to life. "Captain, we got multiple contacts on long-range sensors. They matched the energy signature of the Predator's ship." The room fell silent, the weight of this news settling over them like a shroud. They all knew what it meant. More hunters were coming. Rex broke the silence, his voice hoarse but filled with resolve. "How long?" Voss checked her datapad. "At their current speed, less than 6 hours." "Then we've got work to do," Rex said, swinging his legs over the side of the bed, despite Dr. Chen's protests. "Donovan, you're in no condition to," Voss began, but Rex cut her off. "With all due respect, Captain, we don't have the luxury of waiting for me to heal. Every second counts." Voss hesitated, then nodded sharply. "All right. What's the plan?" Over the next few hours, Outpost Zeta 9 became a hive of frenzied activity. Under Rex's guidance, defensive systems were overhauled, weapons were distributed, and every able-bodied person was given a crash course in combat techniques effective against the predators. Zhen worked tirelessly in his lab, synthesizing more of the corrosive compound derived from the Proxima slugs. Voss coordinated with what remained of Earth's fleet, calling in every favor and pulling every string to hit reinforcements en route. As the deadline approached, Rex stood in the command center, his newly repaired cybernetics humming with nervous energy. The station's holographic display showed the approaching predator ships, 3 of them, each easily twice the size of the scout vessel they had encountered before. "This is it, people," Rex addressed the assembled crew, his voice carrying through the station-wide comm system. "I won't lie to you. We're outnumbered and outgunned. But we have something they don't, a reason to fight. This isn't just about survival anymore. It's about sending a message to every hostile species out there that humanity is not to be trifled with." He paused, his cybernetic eye scanning the determined faces before him. "We've prepared as best we can. We know their weaknesses now. And most importantly, we have the element of surprise. They're expecting easy prey. Let's show them how wrong they are." A cheer went up from the crew, a defiant roar in the face of overwhelming odds. As they dispersed to their battle stations, Voss approached Rex. "Stirring speech," she said, a hint of admiration in her voice. "But do you really think we can win this?" Rex's expression was grim but determined. "Win? Maybe not. Survive. Absolutely. And sometimes, Captain, survival is victory enough. The next few hours were a blur of chaos and adrenaline. The Predator ships struck hard and fast, their advanced weapons tearing through the station's outer defenses like paper. But the humans were ready. Trap after trap was sprung, each one taking a toll on the invading forces. Zen's corrosive compound proved devastatingly effective, eating through the Predator's armor and leaving them vulnerable. The station's crew fought with a ferocity born of desperation, turning every corridor and chamber into a killing ground. Rex was everywhere at once, his cybernetic enhancements pushing well beyond their design limits as he coordinated the defense. He personally led a counterattack that drove a group of Predators into a sealed chamber, where they were exposed to the vacuum of space. But despite their valiant efforts, the humans were slowly being pushed back. The Predators' superior technology and physical abilities were taking their toll. As Rex and Voss made their final stand in the command center, it seemed that all hope was lost. Then, just as the Predators were about to breach the last line of defense, a new alarm sounded. Voss's eyes widened as she checked the sensor readings. "Reinforcements," she shouted, her voice hoarse with exhaustion and disbelief. The fleet made it. Sure enough, a dozen Earth warships dropped out of FTL, their weapons blazing. Caught between the hammer of the fleet and the anvil of the station's remaining defenses, the Predators found themselves outmatched for the first time. The battle raged for hours more, but the outcome was no longer in doubt. One by one, the Predator ships were disabled or destroyed. The Hunters, for all their skill and technology, had underestimated humanity's tenacity and resourcefulness. As the last Predator fell, impaled on a piece of wreckage wielded by Rex himself, a stunned silence fell over the station. They had done it. They had won. In the aftermath, as the wounded were tended to and the dead were mourned, Rex stood in the observation dome, gazing out at the debris-strewn space around Zeta 9. Captain Voss joined him, her uniform torn and bloodied, but her eyes shining with pride. "Hell of a day," she said softly. Rex nodded, his cybernetic eye-wearing as it took in the scene of their improbable victory. "Hell of a day," he agreed. "So what now?" Voss asked. "After all this, I doubt things will ever go back to normal." Rex turned to her, a ghost of a smile playing on his lips. "Normal? No, I don't think so. But that's okay. We've proven something here today, Captain. Not just to the Predators, but to ourselves." "And what's that?" Voss prompted. "That humanity isn't just another species to be hunted. We're a force to be reckoned with. And whatever else is out there in the galaxy, whatever other threats we might face, we'll be ready." As they stood there, watching Earth's ships begin the process of securing the area, both Rex and Voss knew that this was just the beginning. The galaxy had taken notice of humanity, for better or worse. But after what they had accomplished here, neither of them feared what the future might bring. Humanity had faced its greatest test and emerged victorious. And in doing so, they had written a new chapter in the story of their species, one of courage, ingenuity, and indomitable will. The hunt was over, and humanity, against all odds, had emerged as the apex predator.